Welcome to Press Point. Now soon it will be a criminal offense to own a keyboard and a mouse. Yeah, you may need a special license to be able to own a computer. There will be another special license to go online. The government will follow up to ensure that you regularly renew your licenses. Here's what is going to happen to the digital space. Welcome back. They say when the cat is away, the mouse will play. But it seems the mouse is no longer playing because in Kenya, the cats have refused to go away. In fact, they are patching right on the keyboard, monitoring every letter. Nowadays, when you press enter, you enter into problems. And when you click send, someone clicks and sends people to track you. Every tweet is now a potential charge sheet. Welcome to a new era where speaking online can get you into trouble. So how exactly is the government dealing with its people as far as matters online go? The first strategy they are employing is called head on the wall. This is what they applied to Albert Ojwang. Now, the last time I checked, every county has numerous police stations. Each station is capacitated to handle inmates. Yes, it is like in Migori, the stations are not capacitated to handle not a terrorist, not a thief, but a teacher. That is why a teacher had to be transported all the way from Migori to Central Police Station in Nairobi. Now, it is here in Nairobi's Central Police Station where Albert Ojwang decided to apparently hit his head on the walls of the police station, according to a police communique. Now, Albert died under police custody, not in a shootout, not in a gang, not while running from crime. He died in a building that claims to protect citizens. Then came the story, or is it narrative, that he had hit his head on the cell wall. So after hitting their heads softly, the story that they came up with was that Albert had hit his head hard against the cell walls.
As I did say yesterday, the primary information that we got that early morning of Sunday is that the late Ojwang had hit his head on the walls. And based on that, the first statement was issued based on that information.
Now, although the truth has a longer shelf life, lies are more camouflaging. Indeed, they say that a lie can walk half the world while the truth is still typing. The lie that indeed Albert Ojwang hit his head against a prison cell or a police station wall, whatever that was, had started sprinting before dawn. But when the truth came out in the form of an autopsy report, the lie melted. That lie couldn't stand the morning sun. What a lie, what a lie, what a lie, what a lie. Now, let's interrogate the reason why Albert was arrested in the first place.
Hakula. Wakamchukua wakamweka pingu, nikauliza kwani amekosea nini? Wao wakasema ya kwamba kuna boss wake kijana wangu amemtusi vibaya sana katika Twitter, walitamka X.
So there was a tweet on his X platform, right? And this tweet rubbed someone the wrong way. Mind you, his account sensed the weight of the matter and decided to fizzle away. Albert's mistake, his keyboard typed the wrong opinion. Albert's story is horrifying, but it is not isolated. It is part of the many styles and techniques that the system is using to deal with online dissent. Kibet Bull faced a new form of justice, where no police cells and no courts are involved. Here, they used mysterious, highly trained men who appeared out of nowhere in a vehicle with tinted windows, dark sunglasses, and even darker intentions. Now, as far as this style goes, this is where you disappear and reappear as per the script of your abductors. Kibet Bull, a known cartoonist, found himself on the receiving end. When his cartoons went viral, he went missing. He was publishing political cartoons, sharp, witty, biting sketches, and went viral. For days he was held incommunicado. No charges, no explanations, just silence and suffocation. They didn't want justice. They wanted submission. They didn't want court cases. They wanted erasers to rub off the public imagination the way he had inked truths into the nation's consciousness. In the Republic of Silence, even cartoons can get you kidnapped. And the question remains, what is more dangerous now? A weapon or a witty illustration? And then as quietly as he disappeared, he suddenly reappeared, dumped in Luanda, miles away from home, shaken and warned.
X, with their rapid response teams visiting with abductees' families in Othero, Ngong, and Embu to unravel the circumstances surrounding the abductions. IPOA chairperson Isaac Hassan has confirmed 4 reported cases which they are pursuing to establish whether police were involved, as has been alleged, and recommend action to be taken.
The way they dealt with Kibet is not the same way they dealt with Njeri. Now, if you thought they had run out of tricks, think again. When tear gas fades and the police retreat, another quieter weapon emerges, one that doesn't stain the streets with blood, but bleeds the soul dry. They are full of styles and techniques, ancient, refined, rehearsed. Coercion and suppression does not always need a gun. Sometimes all it needs is a courtroom and some jargon in the name of a court case. And so when it was Rose and Jerry's turn to, face the wrath of the system, they did not send police sirens blaring through the night. This time, they reached into the archive of strategies and fished an old school trick. They pulled out a classic: judicial warfare. The art of using the law not as a shield, but as a sword. She was arrested, charged, dragged through courtrooms like a criminal mastermind. A woman who had merely dared to speak, to challenge, to question. Yet, if you had only seen the headlines, you would think that this was a cyber terrorist, a digital mercenary, a public enemy. The words they used weren't neutral. They were deliberate, venomous, designed to poison the public mind. Hacked, invaded, defrauded. They made it sound like she had breached the gates of national security itself. And yet, all she had done was expose truth, something the system fears more than any malware or bomb. They didn't need to prove her guilty. They only needed to accuse her loudly and repeatedly. That alone was enough to stain her name and isolate her cause.
Had the courage of doing what she did. The police didn't need to arrest her. They just needed to call her and tell her, look, come. We want to prefer churches against you. And she would go to the police station. If there are any churches preferred against her, she would come to court and be charged.
But let's be clear, weapons do not only constitute bombs and guns. Oppression wears many faces. It can smile in a courtroom. It can write its violence in legal jargon. It can hide its claws inside the law. And here, in broad daylight, that's exactly what happened. The court was not a temple of justice. It was a hunting ground. And like fierce dogs, umbwa kali, they were let loose and ordered to bite. With bark and bite, they descended on her, not to uphold justice, but to tear her apart slowly, piece by piece, trial by trial. The goal was not conviction. It was exhaustion. To bury her in paperwork, adjournments, legal fees, fear. To make an example of her, so others would think twice before daring to rise. So, if you believed the fight was only in the streets, think again. Because while protesters chant outside, the system sharpens its knives behind the scenes. What exactly had this people's daughter done? She had dared to create a system that people would use to give feedback on the Finance Bill 2025. And just like that, she becomes a target. Not for what she has done, but for what they represent. Power of the people, the audacity of resistance, and the unrelenting cry for truth.
Umenilalisha cell usiku 4. You've kept me away from my kids for nothing. Yeah, you've awakened something.
Now, you won't believe what else the government is doing. The government has invested 150 million shillings. Not for roads, not for justice reform, kwa nini? Not for equipping your local dispensary, why? Or funding your constituency, but to procure a surveillance machine. Yes, a tool designed specifically to track online users. Oh yeah, while county governments are crying over underfunding, while hospitals lack gloves and oxygen, while schools are still holding fundraisers to build pit latrines, Yogava has prioritized a digital hawkeye, a machine that will sneak peek through your emails, scroll through your tweets, scan your search history, and whisper back to Big Brother exactly what you are thinking before you even post. Therefore, freedom of expression comes with a budget line, a very specific one, 150 million Kenya shillings earmarked to monitor memes, monitor messages, and monitor minds. They want to watch you.
Day in that National Assembly, and the Budget and Appropriations Committee has made recommendations to amend the budget estimates of the National Treasury, raising the expenditure bill for the national government to 2.54 trillion shillings. Now, part of those amendments are an increment of 150 million shillings earmarked for the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, to procure and service a system with the potential to track social media users in the country.
Then here comes the Communications Amendment Bill 2025. It is disguised as a very caring and friendly bill from the outside. But beneath the sugarcoating, what does this bill exactly imply? The government wants to give every internet user a unique number, like your electricity meter. But this one doesn't just count your usage. Every time you log it, it tracks and archives. Although they say this is in the interest of protecting children, the adults who may need an ID to log in are the ones to be tracked. Big Brother will be eating popcorn and watching your chats and midnight tweets from the front row. And because the government loves you so much, guess what's in store for you in the new Finance Bill 2025? Due to the care he has for you, Big Brother will now access your bank statement and M-Pesa messages. Lovers shouldn't hide anything from each other, right? And because the government is a trusted partner, we are okay with this. Someone will be like, hey baby, tusifichane kitu, see we are in this together. Privacy can go Okay, I need to control myself. The takeaway? With the new legal measures, the fiscal measures, and even the physical measures in place, your online moves are no longer just being watched. They are being measured, monitored, and mapped. At best, it is a when you move, I move, and when you stop, I stop kind of scenario. Sijui kama mnanielewa? Your online moves will be criminalized at worst. At the worst of the worst, you may lose your freedom, your voice, or even your life. So, in whatever you do, just remember that sometimes what feels like lazy talk can actually translate into some dangerous stuff. And that has been Press Point.
I want to take that route. Na watu wa social media wanatuelekeza huko. Ni lazima, unajua sasa itabidi, na hatukutaka hivyo, itabidi tuulize serikali iregulate social media. Kama China wameregulate, TikTok ya China ni yao, sio hii yenu. Unaona? Mambo ya WhatsApp hakuna China, hakuna Dubai, hakuna Cuba, katika nchi zingine zote hakuna WhatsApp. Social media must be regulated.